G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And while it was Volkswagen who introduced the world to the idea of a hot hatchback in the late 1970s, it was the Japanese who really took hot hatchbacks to the next level in the 90s and 2000s. Mitsubishi, Honda, Toyota, Subaru and Nissan all gave us awesome hot hatchbacks throughout the 90s and 2000s, and in 2006 Mazda decided that they wanted a piece of the hot hatchback pie, and so they gave their Mazda 3 to the Mazdaspeed performance division and they created this car here, the first generation Mazdaspeed 3. And today we're going to see if this car is any good 20 years on. One thing that I think Mazda absolutely nailed with this car was the exterior styling. Where the previous Mazda 323 wasn't exactly much of a looker, with this car they really brought their small hatchback into the 21st century. As seen proudly displayed on the top of the intercooler, this is a 2.3 litre direct injection turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The standard version of this engine was used in cars like the Mazda CX-7 and was designed primarily for smoothness and torque as opposed to power, but for the Mazdaspeed 3 and Mazdaspeed 6, Mazda took it to the next level by turning up the boost, and here in this car now it makes 191 kilowatt or 260 horsepower and 380 Newton meters of torque. While in the Mazdaspeed 6 that I reviewed a couple of years ago, this engine sends its power through a four-wheel drive system similar to what's found in an Evo. In this car, the power is just going to the front wheels, which lead these to have some fairly catastrophic torque steer, so I'm told, but we will find out when we drive it a bit later on. Fortunately, the only transmission option available in the Mazdaspeed 3 was a 6-speed manual transmission, as it should be. And the owner of this one has done a few upgrades. It now has a new HKS intake, a cat delete, a muffler delete, and a blow-off valve. The interior is another great thing about the Mazdaspeed 3 because it is decidedly not Japanese, because it actually has some features. Certainly the Evos, the STIs, and the Type Rs from this era followed the typical Japanese philosophy when it comes to high-performance cars. If you're buying a performance car, that means you just want to drive it and you don't want any features to distract or add weight. Fortunately, Mazda adopted a more European attitude to the Mazdaspeed 3. So it's got keyless entry and keyless start. They come with these very cool card keys, which I quite like. It's got fully automatic climate control. It can tell you what your outside temperature is. It's got auto lights, auto wipers, reasonably sporty seats, but they are definitely still very comfortable. It has 4 doors with a heap of room in the back seats and the boot. It is fundamentally still a very usable hatchback experience, not just a rattle trap designed to go really fast. And I love the gauges on these too. It's too bad they didn't put the tachometer in the middle. That would have really completed the gauges in my mind. And the transmission feels really great. It's a little bit strange where it has very long throws front to back, but very, very tight throws left to right. But paired with this fantastic pedal box down here with a nice light clutch, you can tell that this perfectly straddles the line between being a usable hatchback and a performance car. So let's go for a drive and see how this thing goes. Driving the Mazdaspeed 3. Let's give it a bit of beans and see how the 2.3 does. Oh yes, very good. Wow, it builds boost very quickly actually. I've been driving a couple of Evos today and oh gee, yeah, I've kind of gotten used to this level of power but with four-wheel drive and a decent bit of turbo lag. This has got no turbo lag, but of course it's only two-wheel drive, so put your foot down and oh yeah, I see what people mean about the torque steer. And I guess what's great about a lot of these Japanese cars really is just how easy they are to drive. One thing's for sure, man, this engine is like all torque, eh? The Evo engines make 330 Newton meters of torque, which isn't really all that much, but they make a lot of power. This is a bit less power, but way more torque, so foot down, oh, it's just like pinning you in your seat. But there is one disadvantage with this engine, and that is that it doesn't rev particularly high, and it doesn't make power right up at redline. Like, by 6,000 RPM, it's done, like really done. You notice that it just drops off completely. 5, 6, and yeah, and it just, the power completely plateaus at the top end. Very much a all mid-range and not much top end sort of engine, which is not necessarily a bad thing because, put your foot down at $5,000 and this thing is just booking a day. But you know, once you get to 6, yeah, might as well change gear because there's nothing much happening up the top there. But everything else about the car, steering, I must admit, feels just kind of like normal Excella steering really. It doesn't feel any heavier or more connected than a normal Mazda 3 because, to be honest, the normal Mazda 3s actually drive really quite well. I've owned a couple of them and they were really good. This is kind of the same, just a bit stiffer, a little bit more nimble, and with way more power, eh? So much more power. Whoa, so much power, even on a little bit of gravel there. It's just like breaking the road loose. It's just a torque monster. On corner exit, this thing just scampers. Oh yeah, no, that's 100% LSD, eh? So good. That's just exactly what you want in a front drive car. It's a little bit unrefined by the turn of the FK2 and FK8 Civic Type R. People had sort of figured out how to get this level of power to work in a front wheel drive car. The front end is pretty lively, man. It's shaking the steering wheel around, it's scrabbling for traction. Oh, but it is quick. It is very, very fast. Let's see how it does in first. I imagine a lot of wheel spin. Yep. Whoa, this is crazy torquey, eh? It's got so much grunt at the front end, just tearing the front tyres loose. It's amazing. Arguably, it would actually be better if it was tuned more like the Evos, if it had more power and less torque, because it's just, the front end is always at its limit. Where the Evos, you know, you just plant your foot and the thing just drags you through corners amazingly well. This thing, the front end is kind of, if you put your foot down with no hands on the steering wheel, it's not pulling one way or another. It's not torque steer, but you see the wheel is moving because one wheel is trying to grip and the other grip's trying to grip. In conclusion, the Mazdaspeed 3 is a really great hot hatch in my opinion because it is so comfortable, easy to drive. You can just cruise this thing around and it drives like a normal Mazda Excella, which is to say really good. But now you've actually got the power that the normal Mazda 3 desperately needs. So there we go. If you'd like to see some other hot hatchbacks that you might consider as well as this, then click on the links popping up right about now, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time.